Good evening. I am the Keeper, and you are listening to the Deadlight Codex. This is the account of a man who bought a sleep recorder to cure his insomnia. He hoped to capture his nighttime murmurs, a strange habit that had plagued him for years. Sleep eluded him, and his days grew long and weary. He never expected what the recordings would reveal. What started as a personal experiment soon spiraled into a chilling discovery. Unsettling messages began to surface, words spoken in a voice not his own. The man listened to the first night's recording with mild curiosity. Mostly it was the sound of his own restless movements, the creak of his bed. But then, a whisper, faint yet distinct. It wasn't his voice. A chill ran through him as he replayed it, trying to make sense of the garbled words. Who could it be? The voice seemed to echo in the silence, leaving him with a sense of unease that lingered long after the recording had ended. Night after night, the whispers grew louder and more coherent. Each day, he would sit with his headphones, heart racing as he sifted through the recordings. The voice spoke of things he couldn't understand, phrases that hinted at despair and anger. There were moments when it seemed to plead, others when it threatened. He began to wonder if he was truly alone in his home. Despite triple-checking the locks, he couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, even during the day. One recording was particularly chilling. It mentioned a name he recognized. It was someone from the neighborhood, a person who had vanished without a trace. As he listened, his mind raced, connecting dots he wished weren't there. The voice described places and events that aligned unnervingly with the disappearances. It was as if the recorder was channeling the lost souls, their stories trapped in the ether, seeking a way to be heard. The man felt trapped in a waking nightmare. He decided to investigate further, driven by a need to understand the connection between the recordings and the disappearances. He began researching the history of his house, delving into old newspapers and archives. What he found was unsettling. The previous owner of the house had also vanished, leaving behind only whispers of madness. The neighborhood bore a history of such events, a tapestry of unresolved vanishings stretching back decades. Each thread seemed to lead back to his home, a dark epicenter of mystery. One night, he decided to leave the recorder running while he was awake, hoping to capture any sounds or anomalies. As he sat in the dark, the house seemed to breathe around him. Every creak and groan was amplified in the silence. Hours passed, and he began to nod off, the tension becoming too much to bear. In the morning, he played back the recording. To his horror, there was a conversation, his voice and another, discussing things he couldn't remember. The man's own voice on the recording was calm, too calm, as if in a trance. The other voice, however, was filled with menace. It spoke of knowing him, of watching him. There were references to the basement, to things hidden away. He hadn't visited the basement in years. It was a place he avoided instinctively. Now, it seemed to call to him, its secrets beckoning. He knew he had to go down there, despite the fear that gnawed at his insides. Descending into the basement, he felt the air grow colder. The flashlight beam flickered, casting jittery shadows on the walls. The space was cluttered with forgotten relics of the past, old furniture, dusty boxes, and cobwebs hanging in the corners. As he scanned the room, his eyes landed on something unusual, a small, locked chest covered in dust. It seemed out of place among the mundane chaos. His heart pounded as he approached, the silence around him growing oppressive, as if waiting for him to uncover its secrets. With trembling hands, he forced the chest open. Inside were yellowed papers, old photographs, and a small, worn diary. The photographs were of people he faintly recognized, neighbors who had disappeared. The diary's pages were filled with frantic scribbles, documenting a descent into madness. It spoke of voices, of being watched, and of things that lurked in the shadows. Each entry seemed to echo his own experiences, as if history was repeating itself. A sense of dread settled over him, knowing he was part of a terrifying pattern. Determined to break the cycle, the man decided to destroy the recorder and the items from the chest. He gathered them in the backyard, setting them ablaze under the darkened sky. The fire crackled and hissed, consuming the remnants of the past. Yet, as the flames danced, he felt an overwhelming sense of loss, as if something vital was slipping away. The voices might be silenced, but their presence lingered, a shadow cast over his soul. He realized that some things might never truly be erased. Before leaving everything behind, he decided to confront the voice one last time. He set up the recorder and spoke to the silence, demanding answers. The air felt charged, as if the house itself was listening. He waited, tension coiling inside him, like a spring ready to snap. When he played it back, there was only his voice, desperate and alone. Yet, as he packed his things, he swore he heard a whisper carried on the wind, a final goodbye from whatever had shared his nights. That's where the account ends, whether by choice or otherwise. The man never spoke of the recordings again, and the neighborhood's mysteries remained. The disappearances continued to haunt the community, whispers of the past echoing in the present. He moved away, seeking solace in distance, but the memories followed, a reminder of the darkness that lurks just out of sight. Some stories don't end, they just stop being told. And if you ever hear whispers in the night, you might wonder if they're meant for you.